food imagery and books. That's what this video is about, and how that can help your kid expand their diet variety. So this is another fun video. Well, all my videos are fun, I think personally, but and this gives you some changes you can make today. So this is a bit more subtle than the food play section, and it's also pretty straightforward. There's lots of really good and exciting research that says that visual exposure to new or not preferred foods can increase a child's likelihood to try or accept a food based on their initial thoughts about the food. One such article from 2018 is entitled "Visual Exposure and Categorization Performance Positively Influence 3 to 6-year-old Children's Willingness to Taste Unfamiliar Veggies." Whew. Mouthful. So basically this means exposing a child to pictures or other visual exposure of a food makes them more likely to taste it. And that's pretty awesome. So how do you do this at home? There are several ways, and I'm gonna start with the less time intensive and move on to the more time intensive. So option number 1, print out a picture of a vegetable or food, but only one, that you want them to start eating, and just put it on your fridge. Like, that's it. Just hang a picture of an avocado on your fridge. The goal here is visual exposure. For you parents who don't quite have the time today to add any other activities, like this should take you less than 5 minutes. But like, for example, if you're doing the avocado, make sure you present it on the fridge like they would see it. So if you want them to eat guacamole, like put the actual picture of guacamole. If they're getting avocado slices, put the picture of the actual slice, not just the avocado, because how an avocado looks on the outside is gonna be different from what it looks like when you put it on their plate. So option number 2, put a bowl of fruits or veggies on the table or the counter. That is room temperature safe. So, you know, like those HGTV magazine kitchens with bowls of lemons or apples on the counter, like that, but with a fruit or veggie that you'd like your kid to work on eating. So the goal here is visual exposure, but there's an opportunity to eat it if they choose to. This is great to do in that time between school and dinner time. So like, slice up a bowl of cucumbers or put out some baby carrots on the counter and just put it there. Visual exposure, and it's accessible to your kids if they want it. You can even introduce some novelty tools there, like new forks or food picks or whatever, for them to eat out of the bowl if they chose to. But make sure you keep safety in mind. If your kids are young, keep the choking hazards out of reach, and make sure that you keep the temperature of the food in mind too, to make sure that it's staying in that safe temperature zone if it's not shelf or room temperature stable. So option 3, check out some YouTube videos. Look for kids or characters enjoying or interacting with the food you want your kid to try. So rather than like a specific food, generally these YouTube videos are gonna be focusing on food in general, just because I think it'll be hard to find like so-and-so trying a strawberry. I mean, you might find that, but there really isn't that much out there. But these YouTube videos generally focus on the attitude around trying new food. So Daniel Tiger or Master Chef Junior, those are great places to start on streaming services and on YouTube, as well as Kobe Eats on Instagram. That's a great Instagram page to look at with your kids. There's also many episodes of popular cooking shows that have had kids on, but be cautious here with this being your only go-to, because the evidence for videos is not as clear as the evidence for pictures or books. So just keep that in mind. But it is certainly an option for busy families, and it can be a fun bonding tool to do with your kids. So option number 4, order some books about food. So I have an example here. I got this from the library, so free, and this is called "What's on Your Plate? Exploring the World of Food." So ask your child questions about the food and the books and engage in conversation. You can check out my Amazon store for some book suggestions. But remember, just like I did, if you're not into buying books, the library is a great place where you can search keywords like carrot or food in the child's age, and you'll probably be surprised by the options that you find. Some ways you can engage in active reading in these books are like, how do you think she felt when she ate all of those blueberries? Or what do you think that pizza tasted like? Is that food cold or hot? Is that food soft or hard? What does that food sound like when you squish it or eat it? Do you want to go get some of that from the fridge and we can try it together? Keep in mind that the evidence for using imagery is strongest or only documented for real pictures. So this book, What's on Your Plate? Exploring the World of Food, has actual images of food like guacamole, empanadas, tacos, tamales. They're not cartoon drawings. So I try to look for books like this. They're kind of harder to find. So if not books that have actual pictures, I try to get as realistic illustrations as possible. If we start to get so cartoony that there's like eyeballs and smiles on the food, it's hard for our kids to like equate that to the actual food because it doesn't register that they're the same in their little brains. So still good, but not as good as when we have actual pictures of the food. So this next option is my favorite. This is, I printed out a picture for you guys to show you. This one here has to do with characters and the way we market food to kids. So have you ever noticed that kid food commercials like Lucky Charms or Sour Patch Kids or back when we were kids, the Trix Yogurt Bunny, they have characters that market the food to our kids. And that is not an accident. It's a sales psychology tactic that works. Companies know that kids will be more likely to ask for foods advertised with characters. But we can use this information to our benefit too. Research shows that displaying a picture of your child's favorite character with a fruit or vegetable can increase their preference for that food, which is so cool. So how do we do that? Pretty simple. First, find a picture of your kid's favorite character. So here I have Elsa with broccoli, and the food you want to focus on. So Elsa, and I picked broccoli. So if you can't find a picture of the food you need, you can just take one yourself, but usually just Googling it is fine. And then using a super simple image editing software like PowerPoint or Canva, they're great for this. You can add the food to the picture of your character, print out the image, and put it on the fridge. On your child's bathroom mirror, or anywhere else prominent. Draw attention to the image in a low pressure way and start a conversation. For example, I used Spider-Man on this one too, here. These took me 5 minutes and you can say like, oh, hey, look, Spider-Man's eating the banana. Like that's it, just keep it simple. So each of these took me less than 5 minutes. All I did was Google the character, copy the image, and then paste it into a new Canva document, canva.com. That's a free website. You can make a free account and you can do this for free. So, I mean, obviously the images that you might pull from Google are copyrighted, so don't send them to people, but if you just make them in your house, you'll be fine. And yeah, Canva is an awesome imaging editing tool for parents to use in their home for little things like that. Really quick though, I want to address some of the research behind all of this, especially the characters. The usage of characters is a very common marketing tactic, but there's actually some nuance behind it. So this information comes from a 2020 article entitled The Power of Packaging, a Scoping Review and Assessment of Child-Targeted Food Packaging. So younger kids, ages 6 to 7, tend to gravitate towards the use of characters more, whereas older kids, like 8 to 9, tend to select products without characters and from familiar brands. So for the kids who do gravitate towards characters, it's only specific characters, like the ones that they identify with or are familiar with. This research is specifically focused on packaged foods. However, it might really resonate with your kids if they're super into certain characters, like they love Transformers, or they're a younger age and they have some veggies to work on. Editing Dr. Taylor here. I was sent another article that looked at putting pictures of a child's favorite character on a container of raw veggies, and I'm going to show you the title of that article right here. But researchers in this study found that veggie intake increased after 1 week of this exposure, but actually went back down to baseline after 2 weeks. So this suggests that novelty is an important component here. So if you try this character strategy, don't leave the images up forever. Make sure we're rotating out the strategies used in this course based on your child's current interests and needs. So the last option for visual exposure is fruit or veggie artwork. Stickers, coloring books, downloadable coloring pages, cutting up fruit shapes with stickers. drawing, watercolor, acrylic painting. Like the options here are endless. You can even create a little art studio in the kitchen with items on the table for them to draw while you cook dinner. This gets into food play a little bit too, especially if you have your kiddos touch and feel the food that they should be drawing or coloring. You can have them arrange it themselves before starting to draw. The goal with these activities, visually expose your child to a food that they're learning to like. There's lots of ways I mentioned here how to do that, but you need to pick what's easy and right for your family, either with images or the real deal. And the key here is the actual pictures as much as possible, or the actual food, and low pressure. Just casually leave that picture on the fridge or bowl on the counter. Take a picture of what you decide to do and tag me in it, because I can't wait to see what you come up with.